Hello and welcome to our little impromptu live feed on how to make sure that your business is profitable. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Carly, also known as Nail Yoda, and I help business owners build profitable nail businesses. Okay. I myself have a seven finger salon, and we've created that over the last 2 years. But yes, this salon took 2 years to get to seven figures. However, it's taken 10 years of lessons and heartbreak and shit going sideways to actually be able to do what I do. So, what I do now is my salon is run by my amazing management team, and I get to come and play with all of you and help you build profitable businesses for yourself. Because, full disclosure, my mission is to completely change the Australian nail industry. And I have a philosophy that if each one teach one, we'll be able to achieve that. So I'm here to do that with you. So I was chatting with a new lady who joined the Profitable Nail Tech Facebook group, and she's actually just jumped on in the back end as well. But I will just quickly continue my little story and then I'll get back to her. So I was chatting with her yesterday, and she's purchased my Profitable Nail Tech pricing calculator, and she was asking some questions because she's just not 100% sure. And as we're going through, and as I was like chatting back and forwards with her, I said, hey, look, do you mind actually jumping on a call? Because I think this would be a really great opportunity to have a discussion with you and help you. But also, I think this is something that a lot of people really struggle with. And I would really like to, give a lot more people some clarity around it. And then there was a chat that was created, and there's a few questions have been asked on that. And so here we are, and this is what we're doing. So I'm just going to add Paris to the stream. Now, I do believe she is driving, so we're not going to have video. But good morning, Paris.
Hello, I'm actually not in the car yet. I've got to leave in maybe 20 minutes, but I am sitting here for now. Here, I'll turn my camera on.
Okay.
Hello.
Perfect. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. All right. So firstly, I just want to say thank you for being so brave and being willing to jump on camera and have a bit of a chat around what you're wanting to do and what you're wanting to achieve. So can you just give everybody a quick little rundown on your business and what you're currently doing?
Yep, so I'm currently studying with the Australian Beauty School. I know quite a few people who are as well. And so I'm 90% finished my course. And so while I've been studying that, I'm also at TAFE for a different course. But I've decided to start selling press-on nails because a lot of people in my area do enjoy wearing press-on nails. And I've had a few orders already, but I'm looking for just like for some help because I feel like I'm maybe overpricing or like undercharging for my services when making press-ons. I don't know, like there's so many different price ranges for press-ons. Like you see the bigger brands who are only going for 20-30 bucks, but you see handmade ones for 60. It's just like there's so many options now. It's just I'm struggling to price my products and like sell them how I want to.
Awesome. And so the biggest thing here, like this is realistically, there's so many things that go into running a profitable business and what that actually looks like. But I really just want to cover the main foundational things so that everybody can just start in the right direction. So doesn't matter whether or not you're doing like a press on nail business or a service-based industry business, there is still going to be key fundamental foundations required for both. So obviously with press on nails, we have the ability to do them and not have to twist the client's hand like this to be able to get like right in there, because we can just turn the little nail and we can just do the nail art as required. So in some ways it's easier to do intricate designs and those sorts of things. So I totally understand why like there's a need and a desire in the industry obviously to create it but also to wear it. With that also comes the fact that there's also opportunities for people to be able to wear the same set of nails multiple times. So, buy it once, wear it a few times. It's not the fact that they've got it on their nails today and then in 4 weeks' time, it's going to be taken away. So there's a lot of factors that go into what that actually looks like and what you want to be doing in order to price your business and where where you're at. So I know yesterday when we were chatting, you're talking about the fact that you're in like a rural kind of town. And so you were a little bit concerned with your pricing and the fact that, okay, well, this is where you are. And so, what you should be charging. And what I said to you yesterday as well was where you are is irrelevant. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because people will always, if they love it, they're going to pay for postage, and you're able to ship it out. So we don't need to really just contain yourself to the demographic that you have around you. For example, I myself live in what is considered a retirement village.
Mm-hmm.
People come here to die, right? It's beautiful coastal town, but it's relatively small. It's about, I don't know how many there is now, but it's 60 to 80,000 people is my rough guesstimate of how many people live here. But it's forever been known as a retirement town. I decided to open a nail salon in this town, and I charge pretty much double what everybody else around me charges. We're super busy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter where you are. If you've got what people want and you're able to articulate that in a way that people can understand, you can be successful no matter where you are and what you're doing. All right.
Yeah.
So you have already purchased my pricing calculator, which does make it a lot easier for me to be able to help you because I've got some information that I'm able to look at. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share screen and just start to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few things that we might need to adjust. So obviously I'm just going to be asking you questions as we go through and we fill that out,
Yeah.
so that we can really help understand what that actually looks like and what people need to be taking into consideration when they're pricing their services, not just nail services, but for you, you're doing press-ons. So you're not face-to-face with the client, but there's time that it takes to package, there's time that it takes to shape, there's time that, like there's other time that comes into that as well. All right. So if
Yeah.
any point you've got any questions, just say hey,
Yeah.
and we'll go through that. So
Mm-hmm.
this is our pricing calculator. It has a whole heap of pre-filled out tabs on it, that makes it easier for people because otherwise you just don't know. Okay. So what you've done is you come through and you've put like your general expenses, which is your products. Now it doesn't really matter if you put it here or if you put it down lower where we've got the professional use products. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter where it's located.
Okay.
Excuse me. The information is still going to be the same. So when we're looking at our general expenses, we're looking at things that it takes in order for us to see people. Okay. So I know that you mentioned as well that, your website's not up and running yet, but that's going to be an expense. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not going to be free. If you decide to go and get your own domain name, like I've got the profitnailtech.com, that's going to cost money as well. And every year there's going to be a fee associated with that. So that would be something that I would put in under my like general or running cost. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's nothing in here for like a website. So generally speaking, when you buy a domain name, you get like a cheaper rate the first year, and then the next year it's like $15 or whatever it is. So with your website, do you know how much it's going to be costing you to keep that running?
I don't know how much Shopify charges because I know they currently have a sale on, but I purchased my domain name like earlier this year as
Yeah.
alongside an email, but I don't know the exact price. I'd have to go find it. But I've already purchased those. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So this is the thing that a lot of people get really stuck in, okay? Because they're like, I've already got that, so it doesn't matter. No. Like we want to look at, okay, we want to be profitable. We don't want to just write off everything from the past, but also we need to look at what's actually going to cost us money in the future, because at the end of the day, we really want to make sure that the services that we're doing, we're actually able to continue to do. And when I need to replace something in 12 months' time, like a website renewal for my domain name, I don't want to have to be dipping into my pocket in order to pay for that. I want to be able to have that already be paid for, by the business, knowing that it's being paid. So
Mm-hmm.
when you're going through and you're doing these sorts of things, you really want to make sure that it's like everything that you possibly could need etc. So like when I start doing it, I sit in my nail room and I'm like, okay, what do I have here and what am I going to, what am I going to be using and needing and what is the cost of that? So I saw that you've just popped in your Spotify and Timely in there. So obviously you don't have exact numbers right now, but just randomly throw, I think Spotify, not Spotify.
Shopify.
I call it Spotify all the time. Is going to roughly, I think it's about like $30 to $35 a month, depending on the package and the plugins and the things that you have. Okay. So as that changes, if you start to up leveling, like, okay, I want this fan, and I want this, you can change all this. Obviously it's moving part. So I would come in there and go, okay, well, let's just call it $35 a month for my Shopify account. Instead of website, we're going to say this is domain name and email. So obviously you can change it as you need to, and that's a yearly cost. And normally domain names, like I said, they're about $15. So I'm just going to call it 25 just to, round it out. Whether or not you have booking systems and stuff like that, you'd go through and you put those things in there. With your press on nails, do you send a business card? Do you send a like a tangible how to apply like postcard with them?
So I'm a designer like full time compared to this. This is a side hustle.
Yep.
So I've made all my I've got this press on guide which I've made over the weekend. I've got thank you cards. I haven't made my business card yet, but I will be printing those soon. But they've all been printed at home with business supplies that my parents already have. So it's essentially costed me nothing because it's through their business that all those supplies have been given to me.
Okay, cool. So moving forward, they're always going to have that for you to be able to utilize. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, you could choose to add it or you could choose to take it away. Up to you. Personally, I like to cover everything. So even though they're supplying it, I want to know that, if they decided tomorrow that they were going to shut down their business, that my business was supporting itself. So even if you were to go, okay, $20 a month in, business referral cards, for example, because that's the paper and the ink and whatever that is, like you've got something. Okay. So going through and really adding everything, like your boxes for your press on nails, like that costs money. So we're going to need to be like putting in like the boxes and like that needs to go in there because it's all consumables that are going to be used. So all that stuff comes into like your running costs of what that is. Then you've got like your expenses. Let me just change it back to the screen so people can see. Okay. Then you've got your actual product. So, you've got your tips and your gel polishes and, all the different things that you've got. Now, when it comes to working out like how much each bottle of product is going to, how many sets you get out of it, that is a different kind of conversation. But generally speaking, you're going to get, depending on the volume and stuff, between 30 to 50 sets of nails out of a bottle of polish. Okay. So if it was costing me $12 for a bottle of polish, and I had 100, it'd be 100 times 12 would be my yearly cost in product, purchases for gel polish, instead of just like individual like colors. When you're starting out, obviously it's a little bit hard because you don't know how much you're going to be spending, but generally speaking, you can look at it and go, okay, well, this is a reasonable expense that I could expect. And if you spend less, cool, you just made more profit. Okay. So going through and you've done it quarterly, which is fine, yearly, monthly, weekly, it really doesn't matter. But then you also need to add in things like, okay, when you're doing these designs, you're using nail art brushes. Now, everybody knows that nail art brushes aren't going to last forever. Or you might see there's a new fancy nail art brush that you want. Again, we need to make sure that your business is able to cover those expenses for you in like moving forward. So that's where the one down here, like tool replacement, electrical replacement, comes in handy. LED lamps do not last forever.
Yeah.
You know, they have a lifespan of like 50,000 hours. Chances are, if you're doing low, you know, numbers, you're not going to replace your lamp every 12 months. But at some point you might. So you
Mhm.
might say, okay, an LED lamp cost me $300, but it's probably going to last me a good 3 years. So therefore, I could say yearly, $100 a year that I'd need to be putting away for electrical replacement. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
those things need to come into it as well, in what that actually will look like in replacement of those tools and the e-file, depending on what you're using.
And I just had a question, sorry, before you
Yeah.
continue. Back to the nude polish. So I think I've probably at this stage got around to 20 bottles, I'll say, but I've
Mhm,
only really used maybe 4 or 5 for my nails that I've created so far.
mhm.
Would I put through that I'm using 20 bottles of polish, or should I put through 3? Like how would I put that into the calculator to then get an
Yep,
accurate number?
yep. So you'd put what it's cost you. So you put the 20 in,
Hmm.
okay? Because you've spent the money,
Yeah.
okay?
Hmm.
Um, whether or not you use it or not is irrelevant. It's the fact that you've spent it, okay?
Yeah.
Um, and then when it comes to actual cost of service, it's going to take all of this information that we've got in this calculator, and it's going to create a number for us at the bottom that tells us what we need to be charging
Hmm.
in order to cover everything that we need to run our business. Like, I still have some gel polishers like that are 10 years old. You know, like, they're still going. They're not super popular. I've still got them, I'm still using them.
Yeah.
And in my pricing calculator, it's like, okay, I know that I spend $15,000 a year on gel polish, right? Okay, cool. That's what, you know, goes into mine. You might be, okay, I spend like $500 a year in gel polish. No worries. I'm going to, you know, put that in there. Like, give yourself a budget of what you're
Hmm.
looking at spending, because like I said, you want to make sure that there's money there and it's not coming out of your pocket,
Hmm.
because we want to make sure that when we're doing a set of nails that we know that everything's covered, including paying yourself. Um, does that make sense?
Yeah, so then with the polishes, should I categorize it as like maybe nude polishes, colors, liner gels, just so it's all generalized and I can just put the prices of those groups, or?
Yeah, you could. Again, it's up to you. It's your pricing calculator. Yeah.
Hmm.
Personally, I just go gel polish.
Okay, yeah.
Doesn't
Mhm.
matter if it's, you know, 5 mil, 7 mil, 20 mil. If it's gel polish and I've bought it, it goes
Yeah,
under this category.
yeah.
Um, Same thing with disposables. You know, if you're using lint-free wipes and nail files and all these different things, if it's a disposable item, I'd have disposables.
Hmm.
Um, Cleaning supplies. You know what I mean? Like, so it's
Yeah.
just everything just goes in. Otherwise, you're going to have like 50,000 things on your list,
Hmm.
which is fine, but it's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
Unless you know, you want to start looking at, okay, why do I have a $20,000 gel polish bill? Well, because I've put, you know, not just gel polish in here, I've put a million other things. So you can start to look at, you know, why it's so high, but it just gives you those options to look at and go, right, this is what
Hmm.
it is.
Yeah.
Which is a bit more accounting, and I've got other things for accounting, but
Yeah.
pricing is a little bit different. So brushes and I would put under like maintenance costs, because like I said,
Hmm.
the things that are going to need to be replaced.
Yeah.
It may take 10 years, but it'd be, you know, whatever you spent divided by 10 years, and that's your yearly cost. So you just have a look at those. Financial costs and debts. Excuse me. Obviously, starting out, most people don't have an accountant that they are using. However, we want to be looking at the business in the sense that you are profitable and you are going to need the accountant, because that's the whole point of being in business. The whole point is to be making money and to need to do tax returns and those sorts of things. So, calling up a few and finding out how much it might cost, again, is important to then put in. You're not spending it right now, but we want to make sure the business is going to cover that cost when it does need to be spent. Okay.
Yeah.
Some of it's going to be relevant. Some of it's not, and you can just come through and work what you need to. Car expenses. Again, if you are mobile, this is like so critical for you, because you need to make sure that you're covering, your insurance and your services and, tires and like all the stuff that goes into it. How much are you spending on that? And full disclaimer here, because this is something that I get asked a lot as well, is they want to make sure their business covers the cost of it, but can they claim 100% of the cost of it because they're using it for their personal and stuff like that? Pricing calculator is designed for you to make sure that you are profitable. If you want to cover your entire, like if you want your nail services to cover your rent for your house, and your rent for your house is $500 a week, you would say that the shop rent is $500 because we want the business to cover it. It doesn't mean that at tax time, when you go and speak to your accountant, that you're going to be able to claim $500 a week on your house. What it means, though, is that your business has provided the income to do that. Whether or not you can claim it is a completely different kettle of fish, okay? So I just want to be really clear in what that actually looks like. But one of the things for me, one of my first goals was to make sure that my nail business paid for rent. So in rent, I actually had, where is it? Here, my house rent. So whatever that was a week, I wanted to make sure that was covered by my business. Okay. As a general thing. Insurances, etc., goes in there. Car stuff goes in there. You have to obviously go and travel to the post office, which is going to cost fuel. You can put in there $20 a week for fuel. You know what I mean? Like, this is your thing. You get to really control what you're doing and what you want to cover. Obviously, the more that you put in, the more that your prices are going to go up. So, be mindful, but it's there. Education memberships, if you've got a Canva membership, obviously you said that you're a graphic designer, so I'm sure you've got like Adobe Pro and all these sorts of
cool, I do.
Cool things that you use.
Yeah, again, I've got the Adobe suite, but that's currently free because I am at TAFE, so I am looking to buy that at the end of the year, and I think that's about it. I only use regular Canva for now, so all my other editing apps are free on my phone and my iPad.
Yeah, cool. So if it's not a cost right now, and it's not something that you need to be worrying about, or that you need your business to be paying for, because you have outside income, whatever, then you can just leave that and go continue with what you're doing. But this is where you'd put those sorts of things in there. Wages. Now, this is one that a lot of people don't actually do properly. And this is evident here with your $50 a week. So when it comes to wages, I always ask people, like, what do you want to be actually earning? Like, with your business, do you want your business to be what pays for your lifestyle? Because if so, that's what your wages. Like, if you were going to come and work for me in my salon, you'd be paid a wage, and that would require X amount of hours that you would be doing in order to achieve that. For your business, it's the same thing. So if you're paying yourself $50 a week in wages that you've written on your calculator here, what that says to me is, right, you're working essentially 2 hours a week in your business. That's it. Because that's what you've allocated to pay yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, when I first start working with technicians, I always say, look, you can have whatever you want. Your goal can be whatever it is, but $50,000 a year from a business is a pretty decent starting point. It might be 25,000. You might be like, okay, I'm going to do this part-time. It's not actually going to be a full-time thing for me. I'm going to do it part-time. So therefore, 25,000 might be what it is. It could be 100,000, like whatever it is, whatever it's comfortable for you to be, that's what you'd put in there. So that made a little bit more sense, because there's time that you're going to be doing stuff for your business that you're not necessarily with a client for, and that time needs to be, you need to be paid for it, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise you just got a really expensive hobby. It also then works out your superannuation that you should be putting aside for yourself, and also time for like holidays and sick pay. Again, being a like working for yourself, a lot of people don't pay super. And I'm not saying you have to put that in a super fund. You can put it, just in your bank account, or, in a high interest term deposit, like whatever you want to do. Financial advice, go get financial advice. But your business should be putting that aside for you, because again, if you're working with somebody else, they would.
Yeah.
When it's holidays and sick days and you're sick, you want to know that, hey, look, there's money there that I've put aside for me to have the 3 days off that I need because I'm sick, or I want to go away on Christmas, or whatever it is. It's in there. It's already built in. All you need to do is transfer that, so that it creates those opportunities for you to be able to do that. So then come back over here. You've got the rest of your professional use products that you would use. So again, all of your tips and primers and all that sort of stuff you would put in here to work that out. So whatever it is, that you've bought in the last 3 months or year or whatever, this is what you'd put into this calculator, because you've purchased it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And chances are it's going to be used. So we're going to pop that in there. So then when you keep scrolling, obviously you can keep adding other expenses and everything else, but I feel like we've gone through a lot of this generally. This is then when we get to the important part. So wish this would go away. Go away. Okay. So right now, just with the expenses that we've put in, this is telling me that you need to be earning $1,237 a week in your business to cover the cost.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which we're substantially, away from right now. That's okay. We're just starting, but we know what that looks like. The amount of hours that you're putting into your business is what you put there. So it was 4 and you just changed it to 30, which is perfectly okay. But this is the amount of hours that you spend working on your business, making money. Okay. So if you're open and doing services, and you're open, 5 days a week, 9 to 5, and you're working 38 hours a week, that's where you'd put in 38 hours. The hours that you spend doing marketing and those sorts of things aren't money generating hours. Okay. So this is where it's really, really important. When you have a service-based industry, you're going to have hours that you can actually generate money, which is what's going to go into this part of the calculator. You're then going to have hours that are going to be needed, like watching this video, right, is needed in order for you to grow and build your business, but it's not generating you any income. So we wouldn't put the hour that we're working doing those sorts of things, or creating graphics, or whatever. Okay. So 30 hours we've put in there. So what that now then tells us is that in order for Paris to be profitable, her hourly running cost is $58.52. So that means that for every hour that she spends doing a design on a set of nails, she needs to be charging $58, or it works out to be 98 cents per minute. So this is then where people get really confused. And I'm sure you're probably a little bit confused now as well, is how does that now translate into me actually doing a service, or me actually working, creating press on nails. So let's get into that one. So
can I just ask a question real quick though? So when I start doing services, so like I'm going to be doing gel, biab, and all that, do I use the calculator separately from this, or do I put press on and service materials all on the same page?
Same thing. It's the same products are going to be used. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Some services are going to be more expensive than others, but it's your nail business. It's one entity. The price is, because you can't, to separate it, you would need to go, okay, this gel polish is for press on and this gel polish is only, you're never going to do that. You're going to be mix matching. Okay.
Mhm.
So you just put all the expenses in one, and then when we get to the second page, that's when we're going to work out what that looks like.
Yeah.
All right.
I do just have to start getting ready for TAFE, so I'm just going to turn my camera off now.
Go for it. Okay. So in our pricing calculator, we have the little tab down the bottom that says cost of service. So we're going to click on that one, and it's going to bring us over to this side. Now, these are the ones that I've pre-filled in. You can click on them and change them as you want to change them as well. That's completely up to you. What you're going to call services, you just call it by that name. So for a service-based business, for example, if it takes you 30 minutes to complete a manicure, I'm going to enter in $30. This pop-up is driving me nuts. Enter $30 in here. It then tells me, right, the cost of that service, taking into consideration all of the things that we've got on this spreadsheet, is going to cost us $29.26. So if you're only charging $20 for that manicure, you're losing $9.26 per manicure. And that's where it gets really, really scary for a lot of people when they actually realize, holy fuck, I am losing money. I know ladies that I work with in a mentor program that I've got, we do the pricing calculator, and it brings up a lot of stuff for a lot of people, because it's like, oh my God, I didn't realize how much I was in the red. And it's normal, because you're not taught this information, okay? But trust me when I say that I have been there, done that, lived it, had the realization very, very confronting when you actually look at it. But it doesn't need to be, especially if you're starting out. You can use this to set yourself up for success in the very beginning and know exactly what you're doing, okay? So when we then look at it again, we might say, okay, a full set takes me 60 minutes, which is then going to tell me that I need to be charging at a minimum to pay myself the $50,000 a year and all of my products and all of my supplies and everything that I need to be charging a minimum of $58. But I'm charging 60. Awesome. You're making $1.48 profit. Now, the amount that you're making here, it doesn't need to be $1 million, okay? It doesn't need to be such a huge number, because what that profit section is that's what you then have to be able to go and buy that latest gel polish collection that you really, really must have. You start to look at it and go, do I really need that? Because I may not. And take it from somebody who has literally thousands of dollars worth of nail art and all the rest of it. I promise you, your clients don't actually want the latest thing in every color, in every shade, in every length. Okay, they don't. Your clients, and if you don't, it's another conversation. But it's a possibility for you not to have all the things. And when you start to really know, okay, my costs are covered and I've got $20 profit, what am I going to actually spend that $20 on? And you start to get really particular in what you're doing. But what it also allows you to do is look at, where am I wasting money? And it's not necessarily wasting money, but where am I spending money that I should be saving money? Okay. You might be paying through the nose for insurance that you don't need. I'm not saying don't have insurance. I'm saying you might have a policy that's, just been running for 10 years that you haven't looked at. And you just keep paying it and paying it, paying it. People do it with car insurance. They do it with business insurance and stuff like that. Like, you can look at this and then go, okay, critically thinking, what do I need to change here in order to increase my bottom line, in order to increase that profit that I am actually making in my business? Because if you're in the red, you may as well go and stand out on the street corner and hand out $10 bills, because you'll be better off. Okay. That's also a pretty confronting conversation to have. When you realize that you started your business in order to support your family and go on holidays and, live your best life. And, you're putting kids in daycare or, whatever you might be doing, to then do this calculator and look at it and go, I'm losing money here. I may as well not be spending money on daycare because like I should just go stand on the corner and just give people $10 bills because it's actually costing me money every time I do a service. I said it was going to be confronting. I wasn't lying. It can be quite emotional to actually sit there and sit with that and have to go through those feelings. It's something that, we do a lot in my mentor group because it comes up. But it's important for you to remember why you got into business and then looking at it, realizing that nails are not a necessity. They are a luxury. And your customers need to pay for that service that you are providing in order to ensure that you're able to make a living because that's what you set out to do. Okay. You didn't set up a non-for-profit, you set up a business. And so it's time that you now start to look at your business as an actual business. So, what else can we learn from this profit calculator? So, we can look at, excuse me, our expenses and go, wow, they're really high. I really need to look at what I'm actually spending money on. Am I able to get a better deal on my website? Am I able to get better, deal on my products or my disposables or whatever it is that you've got in here? What it also tells you is if you're like, okay, it takes me 120 minutes, aka 2 hours to do a full set, means that it's going to cost me $117 and I'm charging 60, I'm now negative 57. Right. What do I do here? Well, if it's taking you 120 minutes to do a full set, and that is the time that the client walks in the door to the time that you can have another client walk in the door, we need to start looking at how do you become more proficient and efficient at what you are doing, because you either need to increase your price, decrease your cost, or decrease your service speed. Okay. So doing the pricing calculator can be really daunting, but it can also be a kick up the ass that you need to go, right, I really need to stop having a chat with my customers for 30 minutes before we start. Or I really need to make sure that they send me a photo of what they want so I can get it out ready. And we're not sitting here looking at 15 different shades of red when they walk in. Okay. It allows you to start making business decisions and processes and policies in your business to ensure that that hour and 20 is now 90. And then you can go, okay, I'm still losing $30, but I'm learning and I'm willing to allow myself to work for free, because that's what you're doing. When it's negative 30 or negative anything, you're working for free. And if you know that your wage is covered for a certain amount and you're willing to give yourself the space to grow and evolve, and you're willing to put in the time and work for free to get better, but you're actively trying to gamify what you're doing and get faster or get more proficient, it's okay. It doesn't need to be the world's worst thing. You just need to be aware of it in order to make changes, in order to excel in what you are doing. So it's a really, really handy tool. Working with the press on side of the business, if it's taking 120 minutes to set up the box and do the sizes and do the nails, etc., and it's costing $117 to do that, you cannot charge $50 for your set. Okay. What that tells me is you need to have a system in place in order to reduce this speed down. So if you're doing just a nude ombre set of nails, I would expect you to be able to do that in about 30 minutes, especially if you don't have a client sitting in front of you and you've just got your nails on a little doodad, right? And you're just painting, cure, painting, cure. Like a 60-second cures, it shouldn't take you 2 hours to do that. So making sure that when you come to sit down and set up, that everything is available for you, ready to go. If you're doing press-ons, you want to make sure that, okay, you dedicate time to sit down and make up your boxes. I've never done press-ons, so excuse my ignorance in this aspect. Set up and create your boxes, or put all your labels on all your boxes so that it's all done. Not that you've got to do this aspect and then you've got to put them in here and then you've got to go over there and get that one and then you've got to put this on. Like, it can completely blow out your the time that you're taking to do something. So just being really systemized in what you're doing and what that actually looks like. And then knowing, okay, if this is actually taking me 2 hours, I'm not willing to work for free. I need to increase my prices. And how do I do that? So does that help clarify things for you, Paris?
Yeah, it does. So, sorry, I just missed the last bit of what you were saying. Should I charge for how long it's taking me to like put it in the box, get it in the mailer, and then take it to the post office? Is that what you were saying?
Yes and no. So there needs to be, if you're charging for like your fuel to go and do it and you're covering your costs there, and then you are driving to the post office and you're doing that, there's going to be a level of work that you're willing to do for free in order to do it, because you're not going to be so you did 10 sets of nails and you're posting all 10 together, you're not going to charge the 15-minute drive times 10 because you're not doing it 10 times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would look at it and go, okay, I'm willing to do the drive for free, but the making the boxes and putting the stickers on and those sorts of things, I want to be paid for my time. So therefore, it's going to be calculated. So looking at those aspects of it, if you were just to look at doing press on nails from a purely like product cost arena and not take your time into it, you could do a set of press on nails, like honestly, for less than $5, which is the same for nail services. Like, the actual cost of product to do a service is minuscule. It's the time that it takes and it's all the extra things that we need in order to run our business that actually adds in the cost that we need to be taking into consideration. So looking at it from that point of view of, okay, what am I willing to do for free? What am I potentially going to be doing multiple times that I don't need to be charging multiple times to multiple people? And working that out for yourself is what I would do in that instance.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
No worries. Did you have any other questions around that, or can I let you go and then go and do the Q&A aspect?
No, I think that's good for now. I think obviously I just have to figure out the different pricing for different sets because like you were saying, a nude ombre shouldn't take 2 hours. But like for example, that was my first time like ever doing that sort of design.
Yeah.
And then definitely some sets are quicker than others. Like I did 2 sets this morning. One took an hour and one took an hour and a half. So I guess I just have to figure out how much material I'm using for each of them and the time it's taking because each person is so unique from one another. It's not like for example, Gel X, where it's the same thing over and over again when you're priming, you're dehydrating and all that. So yeah, I guess there's just a lot of trial and error that I've got to figure out to get the perfect price for my customers and for myself.
Yeah. So like I said, having a system, if I was doing 2 sets of press on nails, I would literally sit down, write down, pinky, pink, ring finger, red, like whatever it is on for like each set. And I would have everything sitting in front of me and I would literally just have them all on the little, I don't know how you do it. But when I was, it's like a little tray thing with like nails on it. And I would do like one coat, put that one in the light to cure, pick up my second one, and I'll be doing the second design or the second hand. That I'll be doing the second one and then putting that, that one then comes out, that one then goes in. You know what I mean? So I'm not just sitting here waiting. I'm utilizing my time just like I would with a client. I'm doing one thing, another thing, and one thing, another thing. Otherwise, if I just did one, it would take me 20 minutes. So creating systems for, okay, I'm doing glitter or I'm doing this. What does it actually look like? And how am I able to go through and make sure that I'm utilizing my time efficiently?
Yeah. I do have the system sort of in place. I've started using a Google Doc that I have, and so I list down each of the individual colors and how long it's taken me once I've made that set.
So yeah, I guess it's obviously just trial and error, seeing which way works better for me in the end.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's definitely going to
Well,
be
thank you
a
so much. I
little
really
trouble.
do appreciate it.
No problem at all. I hope that definitely helped give you a little bit more clarity on how to use it and how to make sure that it's going to be working best for you in your business and what that actually looks like.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I'll stick around for the Q&A because I'd love to hear everyone else's questions as well. But thank
No
you.
worries. All right. So, as I mentioned, we had a few questions that came through the chat. So I'm just going to read them out. Now, some of them are relevant to pricing, others are more marketing related. So I'm going to be keeping it to the pricing aspects purely because that's what we're talking about today. So, okay, so Paula wants to know how much less she should charge for taking longer than normal. So really great question, because we have a lot of beginners that obviously you're going to take longer than a seasoned technician. Okay, it's just normal. You need to again work out what level you're willing to do for free in order to practice and refine and get your skills up there. I would highly recommend you did the pricing calculator regardless and looked at it and went, okay, I am taking 2 hours currently to do a full set of nails. Totally fine. Okay. And it's costing me $30. I'm willing to invest, which essentially works out to be like an hour, right? I'm willing to invest an hour of my time in order to get better. So therefore, that's worth like the $30. And you know that it's what that price is based on this. So you would go, okay, I want to earn, where is it here? Okay, so your yearly wage, all right? So what that is there is already calculated. If you then look at your total running cost of what it costs you per hour, if you're willing to invest that time into yourself to get better and to do more and grow, there's nothing wrong with that. It personally comes down to you, your expenses, and what you want to be doing. I highly recommend that people who are starting out are charging at least their minimum hourly cost in that pricing calculator for the service and what they're doing. Okay, if it's taking you an hour, you need to be charging that 50 something dollars in order to do it, because at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're actually covering the cost of your expenses. So I hope that gives you a little bit of an idea. In my salon, like I said, another question that was asked was about different tiers of pricing for those techs who have different experience. So in my salon, I do offer tiered pricing for my team. Myself, obviously, if somebody really requests me and I've got to go in, because I don't go into the salon, if I've got to go in, I've got to put a bra on, mate, you're paying for that. Like I don't just do that for free. So I have a premium price for my services. My senior technicians and training manager, she has a premium price for her services. And the way that we've worked it out, you can go to sassyminx.com.au/tiered pricing and read that for yourself anyway. But our brand new people who come into the salon who have no experience that are taking part in our in-salon training, when they start their level 1, my senior technician is on level 6. So our pricing is level 4. Okay, so that's our regular pricing. And as a business owner, for me, I do everything in my goddamn power to get my level 1s to level 4 as fast as humanly possible. So that means that we've got a training schedule, and I'm getting in the weeds here, but it starts off at like our base rate is level 4, and then we go back $10 until we get to the level that they're on. Being base 4, we then go up depending on the level that they're on by $10 as well. So it's just clean, and that's how we've worked it. So for you, you might do something very similar. I know that I'm investing. I'm not losing money. I'm investing time and money into my junior team to get them up to the standard that they need to be at. But every single one of them is running at a minimum of that bottom dollar in our pricing calculator. So they're running at this bottom price here, okay? And what that works out to be. So that's my base rate, because I'm not willing to actually lose money on any service that we perform. It needs to actually be profitable regardless of where they're at. And so that takes everything else into consideration. So mine takes into consideration all of my team, which are all paid at different prices, and what that all looks like. So it balances out. So there's a minimum number there. So then let me just check. Next question. I'd love to know what I should be charging. I feel like you undercut yourself. So Nicole, I feel like I've really hammered that home in this little training that I've done today. So I hope that helps make it easier for you to understand what you should be charging. Because when you know what you are, like what you have to charge in order to just cover your cost, when you want to do a promotion, you can do a discounted service if you want to, back to take off the profit that you're making. Because you know that, hey, look, I'm covering my wages, I'm paying my rent, I'm paying for my product, I'm, reinvesting in the business and my coach and my car and whatever else it is for you. I've got $20 to play with. I'm going to use that to do a new client promotion or whatever I am. You know that you're not actually going backwards because it's purely profit that you're playing with. So it makes it really easy if you want to do promotions and stuff like that. You know what that bottom line is before you go backwards, which is honestly, it is key. You need to know that number. How's the best way to announce a price increase to your clients? Honestly, you just tell them. That I never post on Facebook that there's going to be a price rise. Never, ever, ever. Don't do it. I will go in and I will decide the date that the price rise is going to be. And generally speaking, I will decide, say, if I decide that 1st of November there's going to be a price rise, today I would start, well, actually, I would have started the month prior because I have clients that come once a month. So on the 1st of October, every single client, I would start saying, hey, by the way, at your next appointment, it's, going to be $30 instead of $20. Like, I don't know what your prices are, and I definitely don't want you charging $20. But you know what I mean? Like, you tell them at their appointment, hey, by the way, your next appointment is going to be this. There's going to be a slight price increase. On the 1st of October, I would also change the price immediately. So whatever price I want to be charging in November, I'm going to be charging immediately on the 1st of October. So any new client that comes to the salon in October is charged at the normal rate, like the normal price. They can decide whether or not they want to come to me, but I don't have to have that conversation with them of, hey, by the way, the price is going up and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I make the decision, I do it. I tell them at their appointment, hey, look, this is what it's going to be. They can then choose what they want to do. I do not get into defending my position as to why I'm charging more. Just like I wouldn't expect a client to have to explain to me why they're not getting their nails done anymore and give me, a full breakdown. Why do you feel that a client would expect you to do the same? You don't need to. It's a business, okay? Coles and Woolworths didn't ask you if they could increase their prices on milk, bread, fruit. They just do it, and you just pay it because you want it. Same thing with nails, okay? We just have a general courtesy to let people know. How do you start charging a close friend that you did a couple of free sets for and now think should do them free forever? Great question, Jenny. Again, you would say to her, thanks so much, Mary, for, being my guinea pig and allowing me to practice on you. I can't tell you how, much it means to me that you've allowed me to do this. And I really appreciate that. At your next appointment, this is a business, and so I am going to need to start charging you, and it's going to be X amount. You know, that's it. Like, you tell them this. It's not a do you mind if, it's a this is what it's going to be. Acknowledge what they've done for you, and this is the price. It is a business. It is not a charity. Okay, so honestly, just open and honest communication. Explain what it is. Do not offer a discount. Do not offer her a discount. You've given her 3 free sets. Okay, it's now time to pay the piper. She couldn't go in anywhere else and get it for free. Yes, she's probably had a wonky nail here and a nail broke there and whatever else. They were free. If you're happy with the quality of your work and you're comfortable and confident, just make the switch and charge what you charge. Brie asked how to get more clients as she's putting up posts and getting nowhere. That is a completely different conversation that I, am more than happy to get into, but it's not really one that I'm going to be having right now. So keep your eyes on the page for conversations around that. How to politely ask a client what their budget is before starting. So again, if a client walks in and they show me a picture of a set of nails that they want, and I know that they're booked in for a basic bitch set, and they're like, oh, I want these. I'm going to be like, okay, cool. So are we wanting them exactly like this? Or, I start having consultation. I start finding out what are they wanting. And then I will say to them, okay, no worries. So in order for me to achieve that, it's going to be X amount. Are you happy to proceed? Or do we want to look at how we can make this a little bit more affordable? And they'll go, yeah, cool, let's go. Or they'll go, yeah, that's a little bit more than what I was hoping to spend. Can we look at how we can make it a little bit more affordable? And then I would say, of course, how much were you looking at spending? And then I can look at what we can do to get them to look as close as possible with meeting your budget and my time constraints, because my time is important. Okay. So again, ask up front and find out, because nobody likes getting to checkout and then feeling like an idiot because they have to pay a whole heap of extra money that they weren't expecting to have to pay. But also, you don't want to be putting in a whole heap of time and effort and energy in creating a set of nails that somebody doesn't want to then pay you for. Okay, so just have the conversation, be upfront about it, and it'll all work out. I promise you. I feel like the internet's starting to get a bit glitchy on me. So let me just see if I can pull up the questions on my phone instead. Okay, question. How should I be charging when my travel time doing mobile clients? At the moment, she's $12 for 15 minutes to their home. Okay. So, again, with pricing, using the calculator, you'll be able to see what you're actually charging for. Okay. And then you decide what that dollar amount is going to be. Mobile nails is not a cheaper service because you're going to them. The Kardashians do not pay $20 for their nails because the nail technicians come to them. The Kardashians pay $500 for a set of basic bitch nails because they don't want to sit in a nail salon. You might have clients who can't sit in a nail salon or can't drive or whatever. That's not actually your problem. That's their problem. Okay. You're providing a premium service, therefore you need to be charging appropriately for said premium service. You're going into people's homes, which means that you need to have a level of public liability insurance, which you should have regardless. But then, there's a safety aspect in there. Like, there's so much that goes into that, and then your time traveling there. So what I would recommend that you do is you go through, fill out the pricing calculator, and look at what that actually is going to be for you. And then what I would suggest you do is look at this number here. Okay. when you know what this number here is, that's when you would then go, okay, I'm going to charge, if it's going to be 15 minutes, $15, because that's what it's going to work out to be. But you know that your costs are covered. You know that fuel is covered. You know that your insurance is covered. You know that your products are covered. You know that your wage is covered. And then it's like, well, I'm driving to you. It is a premium service for me to do that. Therefore, that is the price of what that is. And you can do mobile multiple ways. You can drive all over the countryside every single day of the week. Or you can go, okay, on Mondays, I'm going to drive to suburb A. On Tuesdays, I'm driving to suburb B, etc. And you move it around and you do that. I know like dog groomers and stuff like that, they do it in like sections. The reason they do that is because they don't want to be driving here and then over there and then back here and then around there and back there, because you know what? The kilometers and the hours that you're going to spend in your car is going to be astronomical. But if you go to suburb A and you're like, okay, I'm going to charge on top of their fee travel from my house to the start of the suburb, which is 10 minutes or whatever, so $15 or whatever it is, have your minimum that you're going to charge. And then it's, you know, you're just going around at these different places and you're like, look, I'm happy to do that included, or I'm happy to work out what that is. But you've just got options there in what that looks like. So I hope that helps. Okay, so that was the last of those questions. Now let's have a look at the thread here, because there's some questions in here as well. All right. Somebody asked how much the pricing calculator is. Currently, it is $27, and you can go to let's put it down there. There you go. profitnailtech.com/pricing calculator. I'll drop a link in the bottom of this as well for you, but that's where you go to grab that. Another question is, how do you work out feature nail costs, be it glitter, French foil, or stickers? Again, how long does it take you to do it? When you know how much your costs of services are based on your pricing calculator, so again, based on your price per minute, if it takes you 15 minutes to do said nail art, it then costs $15 to do it. If it takes you, 2 minutes to do it, it's $2. That's the minimum that you need to be charging. Obviously, there's also that level of, I know what I'm doing and I can smash this out, or I'm really new at this, isn't going to take me an hour. There's levels to it, but you want to make sure that if you're offering nail art, you're practicing and you're getting quick and efficient at what you're doing, that you've got processes in place to make sure that you're doing it as fast as humanly possible and you're not wasting time sitting there doing nothing. And then there's that level of, okay, what is it actually costing me per minute to be able to do this? So, for example, my team, when they first start working with me, when they start doing French training, they're allocated 15 minutes to do French and we charge an extra $15 for it. Okay, so it works out like $1 a minute. As they then progress through their training levels, they're actually able to do it in the time frame that it takes to do the service. We still charge them the $15, but now that's $15 of pure profit because it's in the entire time. So say we have booked out 60 minutes for that service. It's not taking us 75 because we're doing the French as the extra 15. It's now all inclusive, so we're making extra money. So the clients that are used to still paying for that 15, but we actually make more profit that way, which then allows us to have technicians who are baby, technicians who really don't know what they're doing, and they take 30 minutes. It works out in the wash fast in what that looks like. So it really just depends on you and practice and your confidence and what that actually looks like as well. All right. I am officially over time. I hope that has been helpful for you guys and really just breaks it down a little bit more for you in what that looks like in order to be profitable in your business. You need to know your numbers. You really need to understand what it is costing you to do a service in order to then be able to go through and charge appropriately to make sure that you are making money. Because if you're not making money, what is the point? I will chat with you all next time, and I hope that helps. If it has, let me know below, because I would love to know if you'd like to see more little training videos like this. All right, guys, have a good day.